Ohio State opens up its season with a top 3 matchup against Texas. It's Arch Manning against Julian Sand. It's Steve Sarkisian against Matt Patricia. It's number 1 versus number 3, and it's a rematch of the Cotton Bowl where Ohio State won that game 28-14. Ohio State's a favorite by 1.5 points, and I think a lot of that is just because they're the home team, while the over-under is 47.5. Fun fact, this game has never produced a score of a combined 50 points. I'm Steve, and that's Stefan. And Andrew, you get to start us off with the first game pick of the year. We are all reset at 100 Buckeye Talk tokens. Some of us will lose them. Some of us will win them. What is your game prediction for Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think I was necessarily good with my Buckeye Talk tokens last year, so I need to be better this year.
Awesome.
I don't think it was necessarily a pick thing. I think it was a how I'm spending my money thing. I think I was spending big when I lost and spending little when I won. So we'll see how this week goes. Texas 24, Ohio State 21. I think the Longhorns come into Columbus and I think they win. And I think this kind of boils down to a couple of different things. Number one, how do you evaluate the quarterback situation, right? You know, it is a lot of new for both teams. They both lost a lot of NFL talent. They both are replacing a lot of NFL talent, quarterback kind of notwithstanding. So that's a very, very important thing. And then you get to the quarterback situation and it's okay, Arch versus Julian. 5-star versus 5-star. One quarterback is a third-year guy. One quarterback is a second-year guy. The third-year guy has played a little bit. The second-year guy is playing at home. How do you weigh those things? I think Arch has just a little bit more of an edge because I do think that playing experience, albeit against, maybe not some great opponents when he did start, I do think that matters. Arch has definitely kind of played in big moments before, even if just for a play here, a couple of plays there. So I give Texas the slight edge at quarterback, I think, going into this one. And then, frankly, I think this game just comes down to the coordinator battle. I think Brian Hartline stepping into a role for Ohio State as a first-time coordinator, that's going to be a very, very interesting thing to monitor because Ohio State has had very, very successful offenses. How much can Hartline keep that going? Then you go to the defensive side of the ball. This is where I really think it's going to be won or lost for Ohio State. And it's Steve Sarkisian for Texas and what he's scheming up offensively versus Matt Patricia for Ohio State defensively. He's their new defensive coordinator. I just think Sark's going to win that matchup, and I think that's why Texas is going to win. I think this is going to be one of those games that can go either way. And I think right now, if I had to give the edge to somebody, I would give the edge to Texas in the press box in the coordinator battle. And I think that's where this game is won or lost. That is why I have Texas. I do have this game going under. 24-21 is a slight under. I think the reason I go slight under is because there's probably going to be a feeling out period for both of these teams. Not just finding out who they are and what they've got on their own team, but finding out, hey, what is Ohio State going to throw at us? What is Texas going to throw at us? How are they going to react to all of our different kind of schemes and stuff like that? So I think there is going to be a little bit of a slow play early, and then I think we get into a groove, and I think Texas does pull out a 3-point win.
For the record, it's not two guys in the press box. We don't know where Matt Patricia is going to be yet because Ryan Day won't tell us.
Oh, that's fair.
And Steve Sarkisian will definitely be on the field. But the premise of what you're saying still counts. It still matters in that way. 27-20. Ohio State wins. And it's literally under by 0.5 point. And it's 24-20. Ohio State's got the ball. And they put the game away with a field goal with like 47 seconds left in the game to go up by a touchdown to put Texas in a situation where it's got like 40 seconds to go 75 yards with like one touchdown, with one timeout, and they got to go score a touchdown to tie the game, not even just to win the game, to tie the game and send it into overtime. I think it's going to be that close. I think this game is going to come down to things like that. It's going to come down to who makes the first mistake, who makes the most drastic mistake, who can throw a haymaker, right? This game 9 months ago came down to Ohio State had two major plays and Texas had none, right? It had the Travion Henderson screen pass going into halftime, and it had the Jack Score scoop and score. Outside of that, these teams essentially played each other to a draw where they both had two drives where they drove for touchdowns. And I think it's going to be a similar game here where it's going to be a bit of a rock fight that comes down to last-minute field goal that forces Texas to go have to score a touchdown tie the game, and I don't think they'll be successful on that. I think we'll see a similar ending where Ohio State eventually gets that stop and walks out of here with a 7-point victory that's played in like a 3 to 4 point bubble for the entire 60 minutes. So that's under by half a point, and it's taking Ohio State to cover because, I mean, unless you have them only winning by 1 point, then you're, of course, taking them to cover. Stefan, what's your game score?
Yeah, I've got the same score as Andrew, 24-21, but I have Ohio State winning this game. I think I've compared what I think this game is going to be to a more talented, less messy, less weather-affected version of the Kansas State-Iowa State game we just saw in Dublin, where it's week 0, it's early in the season, both offenses struggle to get it going, and then the second half, the ball starts moving. And I think this Ohio State-Texas game could be something like, 7-3, 7-7 at halftime, and then the second half, these offenses start to roll a little bit and get some momentum. And I think that's what's going to happen here. And as I did in our outrageous predictions, I'm going to hold true. I think in the final minute of this game, Jaden Fielding gets a game-winning field goal. Ohio State goes up 24-21, and they hang on to win. I think it's going to be interesting to watch the way Arch and Julian, go through the progressions of, for Julian, his first career start, for Arch, his first start of this magnitude, his first start as, QB1 for Texas. I think the reason I just find myself leading Ohio State is that when it's those two quarterbacks in those two situations, I'll take the guy who's playing at home and has the crowd on his side. It's going to be interesting to see if Texas's cadence and snap counts and things of that nature have to change, the way that Indiana had to change theirs when they were at the Shoe last year, because that place is going to be rocking. They're going to unveil, not the banner, but whatever you want to call it, the acknowledgement of the 2024 national title run. Game day's there. Fox Big Noon Kickoff is there. I think the environment for a noon game is going to be pretty juiced up at Ohio Stadium. And because of all that, I'll take the home team quarterback to be able to withstand it a bit better than the young quarterback on the other side. I'm taking Ohio State 24-21. Jaden Fielding, don't let me down.
It's a banner. It's just not cloth because it's outside.
So it's not a banner. It's
numbers
on. It's numbers on a
plaque.
Numbers.
No,
sure, not a plaque.
It's a metal banner. Does a banner have to be cloth?
Banner has to be like a flag, doesn't it? Welcome to Buckeye Talk, where we talk banners.
614-350-3315. We're going to figure this out. Does a banner have to be cloth? That's what we're talking about because Ohio State plays a top 3 matchup. The more important thing is whether a banner has to be a cloth. But that's been this week talking about everything but football. So I guess that's the best way to end the week's prep of talking about the Ohio State-Texas matchup. The question is this. Give us your game score, 614-350-3315. It's a 2-week free trial. But also tell us, does a banner have to be a cloth? And do not come to me with the Webster Dictionary definition. Come with your own. Come with your own definition.
Are you fearing that the real definition says you're wrong?
Yes, but that's not the point. Things change all the time. There's a lot of things people have been wrong about in society that now they're right about. Andrew always says it. Why are you yelling at me? I'm right. I'm never wrong. I'm just early. 614-350-3315. Those are our picks. Ohio State, Texas in the Shoe at noon. What a way to kick off the 2025 season as Texas tries to avenge a Cotton Bowl loss while Ohio State tries to start its journey towards repeating as national champions. We'll be there. And seriously, get the text. We're going to be texting a lot. Media availability report comes out at like 9 o'clock or something like that, and we'll be off and running for Saturday's huge slate of games. That's Stefan. That's Andrew. I'm Steven. That was Buckeye Talk.